this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Crossing Oceans. This is a new game from PD Rulebook designed by Gerdts.
It plays from 2 to 4 players in 90 minutes.
So let me tell you a story. It was the year of 2017. Johannes just started his board game channel, Board Gaming Ramblings. It was long before Cinema was even on the channel. And we were back from our first spiel. At spiel we got this game called Transatlantic.
Ooh.
And it was not very fun. You can go and watch my review of the game. It was not a horrible game, but I did not love it, and there was quite a few things about the game I did not like. It was a pain for me to go back and watch my review of the game 5 years ago, so if you want to see me 5 years ago trying to get through a review and also doing 10 minutes of rules explanation, go and watch that review. And I hope that's going to be like a boost of viewers on that review now. So 5 years later, Gerdts is coming with it was called Transatlantic 2, and then it changed the name to Crossing Oceans. So today we're going to take a look and see what 5 years of development did and if it's any good. Crossing Oceans is, if you haven't played Transatlantic, a game about getting ships. You're going to get ships and you're going to place them out on a map, trying to kind of like have it's not a real majority area control, but it's good to have more of your ships out on the table than the other players. Then you are basically using a Rondel. You're going to be getting income different ways, and then you're going to try to buy more ships, place them on the board, maybe build some trading houses that you can place tokens on your board, and the tokens on your board shows you how much you're going to score for the different boats' colors at the end of the game, and you're going to continue doing that until you're through the stack of boats or ships. It's not boats, it's called ships. I think that's because it's so large. I don't know anything about it, but I think that's...
Ships are bigger than boats.
Boats, and what is smaller than boats? Banana.
Yeah.
And that is basically what you're doing in Crossing Oceans.
Yeah, artwork-wise, it looks like a Euro game.
Yeah.
I've seen this Rondel in Gerdts game before. It is colorful with these specific colors matching the different actions, so it's easy to see.
Pacific colors.
But the map in itself is very simple laid out. It's like symbols on the continents to have resources on them. We don't do that.
I don't like that.
No, I don't like it either. Overall, it's fine art. I like the artwork. I like how the ship looks. But other than that, it looks like a Euro game.
I enjoy that you have like double-sided boards, so you can play with the historical map on the back, so like an old globus basically. I think that's enjoyable. I feel though like when most of your map is made for places to place things, it kind of gets messy. I don't like to do that. Other than that, there's basically regions with the different boats or ships actions on them.
Yes.
And I think that is fine.
Yeah.
I do like this. Like there's gonna be some kind of comparisons to Transatlantic here because it's impossible not to. And I like this better than just a plain board of locations in a row in Transatlantic.
It makes it a little thematic.
The rules are like in most Gerdts games. You get a piece of paper for a setup. And then when you're done with setup, you can take the other piece of paper. This is actually a long Gerdts rulebook. It's actually 6 pages, which is very long for a Gerdts book. Usually it's like, play the card and do what's on it. You're done. That's the game rules. And the rules are very simple. Like you're going to either place a ship or get a contract, and you're going to do an action, or you're going to use the contracts for different kind of small bonuses. And then you are going to do an action on the Rondel, moving your little piece. And you're going to do that. It's very, very smooth.
Yep.
Very, very quick. And so nothing bad to say. Like it's good. Like most Gerdts rulebooks, it's very nice, condensed, nothing more than it needs to be, and not less than it needs to be either, which is important when it's harder, I feel like, to make a shorter rulebook than to make a longer rulebook because you have less words to explain what you need to explain.
Yes, and it's a little neat to play it as well, that it gives you some additional information. And we have played this with 2 and 3 players, and it's taken us 1 hour and 20 to 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, what does the box say?
It says 90 minutes.
What does the box say? It's impossible not to. That was so close. And what did you say?
90 minutes.
Okay, so that's
that's right
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Like maybe, and you're playing the same amount of ships, even though, like, so the game is actually the same amount of length, depending on the number of players, if I'm not 100% correctly or incorrectly. There's so many games in my brain, so I'm starting like to distrust all my own thoughts about the rules of a game. But yeah, so I feel like the gameplay, the time is not bad. Like the turns are very quick.
Yeah.
Especially with 2 players, you feel like it's your turn all the time.
Yes, Gerdts has these micro turns that it's just like very focused on that. Downtime isn't an issue, and it's very fast before it's your turn again usually.
Yeah, so this game has a Rondel. And as I said, we are going to probably, if you don't know anything about Transatlantic, you will after this review. The game has a Rondel. In Transatlantic, you use cards like in Discordia. Concordia, sorry, I'm missing those. We just review that. You play a card, you do what's on it, and then you have a card that makes you take it back, and you can get more cards. Here, it's kind of more basic. It's simpler because there's no way to get more cards. There's no way to like build up a strategy based on that. It's a set Rondel with a set number of turns between the others. You can move 1 to 3 spaces, and then you can pay a contract to move how far you like, but you cannot take the same space twice. So I feel like this Rondel is kind of a boring Rondel.
I don't mind it. It's depending on what kind of strategy you go for.
Oh yeah.
You kind of want to be very efficient around the Rondel, or you have specific spaces that you need to go, so you can't really rush around it. I feel like it's a little looser than the cards because they're like you have to play. I think it's 4 cards in Transatlantic before you can take him back. When you get more cards, you can maybe have like these 2 ship cards, or for example, and do these actions multiple times in a row. But on this Rondel, if you want to, you can be very loose with your action.
But I feel like it's the same in both games, and the thing that I really like in my Gerdts games is I can plan a long time forward. So I can know maybe like 6 or 7 up to 10 actions that I want to do after each other. It's going to change a bit here because there's some interaction on the board, but I can have a plan like, okay, like when we played Transatlantic and also Concordia, I usually like have my hand of cards, so I'm going to do this, so when it's my turn, I just do it, and I like that a lot in Gerdts designs.
I agree.
I feel like there is, the map here is kind of nice, like you have the, every time it's your turn, you can place a ship or you can take a contract.
Yeah.
If you place a ship, you can place it in one of the different locations or the areas, and it's going to get full very, very soon. Like there's one location that has 4 spaces, one has 2, and the others has 3, and you're using fewer locations if you're playing, or regions, or continents if you're playing with fewer players.
Yeah.
And when it's full, you have to always take out the oldest ship there, and the ship you're replacing it with has to be younger than the ship that you're replacing it with. So if you have like, ships are basically gonna be obsolete pretty soon. Like you have a ship in the beginning, when it gets pushed out, you get it back. You're probably not going to be able to place it out again.
Or maybe in another location
where
another ship is older. I like that when a ship goes out, you can sometimes place it out in another location. But sometimes you have better ships. Those are usually better to put out. I don't know. But I agree. I think that the map and the tightness of it is kind of fun. You be like, oh no, now Johannes has a lot of boats on the map. Now I should try to get like this a little more even out, so that you won't earn so much money when it's your turn, for example.
Let's talk a bit about the actions on the Rondel. There's 8 spaces on the Rondel. 2 of them is the ship action. We're going to talk a bit more about later, but basically you buy ships. And then you have a coal action, which lets you put coal on your ships that you use in the few of the other actions that give you money.
Yeah.
You also have the house action, where you can build like a market stall or a market house. A house, basically.
Yeah.
Trading house. That's the name. I was like, market house. That doesn't make sense. A trading house on a location where you have a ship and you don't have a trading house. If there's another player's trading house or other players, you have to pay them money to be able to place your trading house there as well.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the actions are different ways to get money.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the actions? And like the let's say like the actions is kind of what choices you have in the game. Do you feel like the choices are interesting, fun, and different?
I think they're very simple. I think most of the time it doesn't engage me a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very exciting, like, oh, I'm finally going here and I'm taking these coals off my ships and I can produce and I get 70 money Yay! Well, it's a lot of that during the game, but
Yeah.
with very much less excitement because, yeah, that's what you do in the game.
Yeah, I feel like the actions are like the different actions. There's three different ways to get money. There's a region action where you choose a region and you get all the ships there, even other players produce, which has a coal on them, produces, and you get a bonus for the trading houses you have there. Then you have the cargo action where you choose a ship. You take out the coal, and then depending on how much cargo it can hold, you get some money based on that. Later in the game, that's going to be something, and earlier it's not. Then you're going to have the fleet action, where you take all your ships and take off a coal of all the ones that has coal and produce with them. And then you have the blue ribbon action, which is only in one location. And if you have the fastest ship there, you're going to get double of that boat's production.
Yeah.
And none of those actions feel like, oh, no, I'm going to do this action. Like, they are different. It's not that they're the same action, but none of them makes me feel like I'm doing something different. It's all about getting the money.
Yeah.
So you can go to the ship action, which is the game, and get the ships.
Yeah.
And when you get ships, you can buy 1 to 3 of them. And no matter how many you buy, you're gonna discard up to 3. So that's a change from Transatlantic, which makes the game float smoother. And you are gonna some of them goes like into a side market where you can have 1 of each type, and every time there's a new type that gets pushed out of the market, you're going to discard that and put that there instead. When you buy these ships, you put them in front of you and you get a flag token on them, like that doesn't in Transatlantic. It's just to make it easier to see what you have instead of have to look all of the ships, which is simpler. I like that. And that's how you score the points basically in the game. You get some points for having ships, like having the ships on the table at the end and having the trading houses, but the majority of the points are going to come from these flags. And you have the flags and the different tokens. And if I have, like, let's say I have 5 red ships, I want to also have a lot of red tokens, because then I'm going to get from, I think, 1, 2, or 3 to 10 points, I think.
Yeah, red trading houses, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
red tokens, the red trading houses.
I think that also the buying of the ships isn't that exciting, because usually I see that, oh, I want these white flags because I have a lot of white trading houses. Then I will buy them. If they're not available to buy all of them in white, I can buy up to 3. Then I will see, okay, what trading house do I have in the next to most of? Oh, okay, that's red. Then I will get the red ships. So I seldom look at all of the other stuff. Sometimes if I'm going for the blue ribbon, I might go for the fast ships, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't feel it's exciting, because one of the things I had a problem with in Transatlantic was that I felt like the strategy was to go for one or two of the colors and then just spam that as much as you could. And that's what you want to do here as well. If you see somebody else go for the same color as you, maybe switch colors. And
or maybe not, to give them a fight. I don't know.
But that is basically, I feel like the game boils down to you are doing that. They're trying here to do it differently. You have these multicolored flags, which kind of like tries to force you to do the different colors. But you get 1 of them at the beginning of the game, and you might get 1 or maybe 2 at the end of the game. And they're going to score you a maximum of 5 points, because there's 1 point for each different color you have. So it's much better to focus on 2 different colors and go for that. I feel like the changes from Transatlantic, most of them has made the game shorter and smoother. The biggest change is the way you score points, because when I played Crossing Oceans the first time, I thought this was the way you scored points in Transatlantic. Then we went back and saw the review that I did 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, it's very different.
Yeah, it is. And I actually maybe think that I like the Transatlantic way to score points more.
Way better.
I think this is more like plain and boring.
Yeah, because the way it works is that you score when your ship is pushed out of the board.
Yeah.
And then you score it instead of at the end of the game. So you will still trying to get the ships with the same that you have, because you knew you were going to score them. But you kind of can try to push somebody's ship out before they get to work up to get 9 points. Maybe they only get 5 points. And also the trading houses was way more strict in the other game. There's a set amount of spaces, and every time you score a ship there, I think you got another point. Or every time you did something in that region, I don't remember exactly, you got a point as well. So there's those things, especially the ship scoring, I think I enjoyed better in Transatlantic.
I agree. He has made a version of this game, like in a
He published a variant.
Yes, that is what I meant. That is, I think, meant to balance out not spamming 1 or 2 colors, but balancing more, which he has then tweaked some of the costs for the trading houses, for example.
But it's kind of weird for me to be working on a game for 5 years, then publish it, and 1 month later put out a variant that addresses the thing that people have the problem with in Transatlantic.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on in his brain. But I felt like, this is final thoughts. Let's continue.
Yeah, but I'm really ready for final thoughts.
But first, wait!
And who is it for? I think this is a medium game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of, it's a light medium game maybe for me.
Who is it for? I don't know. If you like Gerdts Rondels, I think there are better Gerdts Rondel games out there, to be honest.
Yeah, Hamburger, for example, I enjoy a lot. Navigador.
If you like Transatlantic, you might look into this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, basically, who is it for is where we kind of recommend the game, and I'm not recommending the game because I don't think it's a good game.
No, you have to see for yourself. But final thoughts time, maybe? We were talking a little bit about if we should try the variant that he has published to see if that changes our thoughts on the game, because we were like, okay, it's like a one-trick pony where you spam these 2 colors or one, and you kind of...
Or basically, like we also tried before, people say that in the comments.
Yeah.
Like the last time we played, you tried to do more balance.
Yes.
And then all the ships were almost the same points, and that also worked, but it's not more interesting.
No, it isn't. That is my point, basically. I didn't really need that. I feel like I needed to play a variant, because my thoughts on the game is still that I don't find it interesting.
Yeah.
I think that it's all right. I'm not bored while I'm playing it, but I'm not having a great time. I'm not being excited. I think it's nice that the turns go by so quickly, and I'm taking this, okay, I want to put this boat out, haha, you're out of there now, and I'm the fastest, now I'm going to go to this blue ribbon space on the Rondel and get income, and then I can buy these 3 ships because I got a lot of money. But it's very repetitive for me, and I don't see, I just don't think that this is an enjoyable enough puzzle for me to be satisfied by it, basically. I think this is like a little above average game for me. I'm going to rate it a 5.5.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you. I don't find it boring. I was just sad that I felt exactly the same thing that I did for Transatlantic 5 years ago, that it was just not interesting enough. And I have enjoyed many Gerdts games, especially Concordia being one I really, really like. So I was really excited to see what he was doing for 5 years, making this game better, and for me, sadly, it was not better. It's not a game I ever need to play again. And yeah, maybe in 5 years, Transatlantic 3. Transatlantic Crossing.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
It's going to come out, and maybe that will be a better game. For me, it's a 5. It's an average game. It's not a horrible game, but for me, it was not something I am ever excited to play again.
Yeah.
So that is the end of this video. Yes. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now. Bye.
Clicking the subscribe button. It's fun and it's free. It makes us happy. Like this. If you want to do something that's not free, you can.
Go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.